everybody, and welcome to the Kawaii Bookworm Plays with Yarn podcast. I'm Hannah, and I'm a Jersey girl living in Liverpool. Sorry for the weird angle right now, but because it is the afternoon and the sun is shining straight into the room, I've got this weird stripe of light here, so I'm trying to stay out of it. But that's that. Welcome back to any returning viewers, and hello to any new viewers. I'm really glad that you've come to watch this video, and I hope you enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, please click the like button, and if you really enjoy my videos and you want to see more, click subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification button as well, so that you get a notification when I do post. Because I'll admit my videos do go up at kind of weird hours due to weird internet. And yeah, so yeah. First things first, the knit along is ending on Wednesday. So that's October 31st at midnight. So get your finished object photos in the finished object thread that's in the Ravelry group, which there is a link down below for the Ravelry group, along with Instagram, my Ravelry page, and anything that I mention today down there. So, yep, the knit along that is for the Sorceress Scarf by Life is Cozy is wrapping up on Wednesday at midnight. So get those in if you're done. If not, that's okay. You'll have a really nice scarf eventually. I do have to admit that the scarf, I was about halfway through and it was a bit of a slog, but I have managed to finish mine, so I guess I will jump into finished objects then. The only thing I need to do is just weave in some of my ends. But here it is with the tassels attached. That's not a tassel, that's ends that need to be woven in. But let's put it on. It is getting a bit blown out from the lighting, but there we go. It's a nice cozy scarf. It has beautiful detailing. And the yarn is Fiber for the People in their Gata Lava Moana Loa colorway, and it's on their DK base, which I think is called Lofty DK, and it's 100% superwash merino, so it's super soft, super comfortable, and I think it'll be really nice for really cold, windy days because it's got a really nice dense fabric, and it's nice and soft, and it does, as you can see, it does stand. I'm trying not to touch it with my makeup, but it does stand up quite well. So if you tighten it, which I'm not going to do because I have makeup on, it'll cover your face nice and well. But yeah, nice and cozy. It is for a friend, so that's why I'm not trying to keep makeup off of it. I haven't washed it yet, and I don't think I will. Mostly because I don't think it really needs any blocking. The stitching is quite even. It's quite large as it is. It would definitely get larger if I block it, but I also don't have any blocking mats. I know you can sort of do it on carpeting, but the kind of carpet I have is that really crappy dorm room carpet that they always put in, so it's like really thin and you can't stick any pins into it and it'll hold. So I won't bother blocking it. I think it looks fine as it is. So that is that. I did use about 2 and I'd say a half skeins of the DK Lofty from them. So there's plenty left over. I probably could have done it with slightly larger needles. I did originally do a swatch with slightly larger needles, but I was really nervous that I wasn't going to have enough yarn to do it with those, so I went down a size. But it is up, I think, 2 or 3 sizes from what is suggested for the weight of yarn. So that was just how I got things, but I probably could have gone up a size. I was just nervous I wouldn't have enough yarn, and I didn't want to get 3/4 of the way through and have no more and have to worry about trying to source another skein of it. So but that's done. I'm really happy that it's done. I finally have a finished object. It's been a while. My knitting mojo is still not totally there, but it is, I do feel like it's coming back a little bit. I am getting things done. I am working on things. But I'm not feeling that, like, I love working on this right now kind of feel. It's just, it's more of a, like, I need to de-stress at the moment, so I am knitting, but the things that I'm knitting, I'm not, it's not that I'm not in love with them, but it's not, I'm not getting that same feel as I was earlier when I was working on, like, my winter sole and some of my other projects that I had been working on. But that's okay. I do have 3 whips, and they're all they're the same 3 whips that I showed last week. I've gotten this to the right size. I just need to do a 3 needle bind off, and I forgot how to do that and haven't looked it up yet. And then pick up stitches for the rest of the mitten. This is the Azurite mittens from Blacker Yarns, and that is what it should look like sans them. But that's what this will look like once I make it. And the yarn that I am using is, the purple is the Sirdar Harrop Tweed, and it's mostly nylon and acrylic and 30% wool. So it's just stash that I got from my mom got it for me when Knit a Bit was closing, and so she bought it on sale. And then the contrasting color that I am using is leftover Rauma Phenol PT2 from my winter sole. I have like a full cake, and I'm just holding this double as I knit with it to kind of match the DK weight of this. Oops, sorry, did not mean to do that. Ignore that. To match this. So it is getting there. It is coming along. It is a Christmas gift. So I do think part of the no mojo is that most of what I am working on is for other people. And I am normally a very selfish knitter. I sometimes find it hard to make things for other people, mostly because I don't know how it's going to be received, and I don't want to put the time and energy into making something that isn't going to be received well, or is going to be received well but not treated well. I don't want people to not, like, I don't know if most of the people I know are knit worthy. Basically, if they're going to treat it well, if they're going to take care of it and not felt it, or, you know, that kind of stuff. So, but I did decide that I want to do all my Christmas gifts hand knit, because I've got quite a bit of stash, and I'm feeling because I will be moving relatively soon, I am feeling like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get this to wherever I need to go, and so I wanted to get some of it used up so that I can give it away and whatnot. But unfortunately I do have to buy one bit of yarn for one of my presents because I just don't have the color that I need in a yarn. So unfortunately I have to add to the stash to finish it, but hopefully, because it's going to be a DK weight thing, I'll use up most of whatever I buy and that won't be too much of a problem. So the next whip that I am working on has been my massive thing of madness, is what I'm calling it. It's just madness. Yeah, it's crazy. So this is going to be a cover, a pillow cover. I'm gonna see. I might be at the point where it is technically the same size, but I'm gonna see if maybe I can just keep going and then see if I can just seam it up and have it that way, rather than just knitting this flat and then sewing it onto a removable cover. Maybe I can make it into my own removable cover, because I do have quite a bit left, so it might work. I don't know, we'll see. But the yarn, I found the tag, is from Love's Pool Yarns, and this one is merino thread apply and beads, and there's 200 grams, and it's about 95 meters, and the colorway was called, and it was called Sydney. So there we go. I don't know if it's mirroring it, if it's gonna flip it or not when I should figure that out. But yeah, I am enjoying this. It is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would, mostly because the yarn is it's very thick and thin. There's lots of like right here it's really, really thick, and then it goes really, really thin, and so that's making it it makes it hard on your hands, surprisingly, because you're constantly adjusting your gauge for whichever section you're in. And then the needles, they're 10 millimeter needles, so they're quite big. So it does hurt my hands quite a bit. And so I only do a few rows and then move on to something else. And that's why it's taking me a little bit longer than I thought. But I am loving it. I do really, really like these colors. A friend of mine did say that they were colors that weren't really me, but I do really like reds. Blue just tends to trump it, mostly because I already have so much blue that when I do wear red, I have a hard time finding something to match with it, unfortunately. Because whenever I end up wearing red or blue, I always feel like a flag. I don't particularly like that. But yeah, there's that madness is coming along. And then the last thing is living in my Edinburgh bag, which really needs to be washed. Gross. Is a pair of socks. I can't get the knot out. Oh, I've tangled my hair in it. I do tend to tie a little knot at the end of drawstring bags if they don't have like a drawstring pull thing, just so that they don't open on me. But this is a pair of vanilla socks and I'm doing contrasting toes, heels, and cuffs. So I had just finished the toes last time, and so I've done just about an inch, there we go, an inch of stockinette, the next color. This blue is Wool & Vine yarns on her footsie base. Sorry, I'm trying to cover my face while also holding this up for you, so it stops focusing on my face. There we go. So this is Wool & Vine yarns on her footsie base, and I think it was a one-of-a-kind colorway, or one for Strange Brews is what she's calling them now. called Brain Freeze. And then this is coming out much, much darker and much more red on the camera, but it is Mothie and the Squid, and I believe it's the Ruby Tiger Moth colorway, and it's like a really deep reddish purple color, and it matches a couple of the speckles in the Brain Freeze, so I thought it would go really well. I'm definitely enjoying these a lot more than the honeycomb socks I was working on originally. And I hope that I've got my stitch count right. I've got 68 stitches on here, and it's a 2mm needle. I was looking up the math, and what I found was if you do your, figure out your gauge per inch, and then measure around the widest part of your foot, and then your gauge per inch times the amount that your foot is, that's how many stitches you need. And mine came out to be something like 74 or 78. I thought that was really quite a bit, because I do have quite a tight gauge. It's about 9 stitches per inch on the 2mm. So I did drop it down to 68, and I think when I put it on my foot, it does feel a little bit big, but also not at the same time. So it might be too early to tell, but I might end up having to rip back to where the toe is and then decrease or increase, depending. But I'm trying to find my kind of like golden ratio, like my number of stitches for my socks, for vanilla socks, because I've only done one pair. I did those on 2.5mm. I did, I think, 54 stitches, and it had the right tightness, but like all the stitches are really like stretched out, and I don't like how it looks. But I want that kind of tightness on my foot, because I find that in most of my socks, especially in the toe, they're a bit budgy, and most of them I've done with cables, so it does tighten it up and it feels comfortable on like the top of the foot and the leg, but the toes there's so much room in the toes, and I'm not sure how to fix that. So I'm trying to figure that out by doing a bunch of vanilla socks and just learning. Because I do like making socks, and I like having hand knit socks. I find them really comfortable, and they keep my feet nice and warm in the winter, because I get really, really cold feet. So I do want to make more. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Not a whole lot, as usual, but I am working on applying to jobs. I don't have any additions to the hoard, so we'll just skip over that section and just go straight into Talk Story. Not a whole lot's happened this week. I'm a little bit croaky because I don't know, it was weird. It may have been a cold, or I just lost my voice, but my nose was also a little bit runny. But I was also at someone's house who has a lot of like scented things being sprayed in the air, and I'm quite sensitive to those, so I don't really know what was going on. It may have been a cold, may have been just laryngitis and allergies mixing together, or who knows. I'm feeling better now, and my nose isn't stuffy, so that's fine. I've just been at work a lot last week, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just work, applying to jobs, and doing some knitting is pretty much my life at this point. I am hoping to go to Nottingham Yarn Expo. I have to wait to find out when my finances are for next month. because again, I work part-time, so it changes every month how much I earn, pretty much. So once I find out, I will go, and that means if Nottingham Yarn Expo is coming up, that means that this podcast, the first anniversary is coming up. So my first podiversary, I think is what many people call it. And I think that's absolutely insane. I've tried multiple times to do a YouTube channel. I've always kind of wanted to do one, and I never quite found the topic that I wanted to talk about. I've tried doing just vlogs. I've tried doing what else have I tried? I've tried book reviews. I've tried like information on Hawaii for like students or newcomers who are moving to Hawaii. And nothing really stuck. I think part of it is I don't particularly like editing. As you've probably noticed, I don't do a title sequence anymore in my podcast, mostly because I had to switch editing softwares when I got my new camera, and I have not figured out how to put a title in yet. In this software that I'm using, it's a little more pro than what I'm used to, and so everything is really, really customizable, and that's a bit much for me. So I do very basic, just splice, cut and splice kind of thing. But this format, this kind of podcasting format where I just sit and talk to the screen and hopefully not mess up, helps in cutting down editing. And I've found the topic that I want to talk about. I love my knitting. I love sharing it with other people. I like getting out different types of yarns and different patterns, and like different local yarn stores that people may not have heard of. I like getting that information out for people, and I like supporting my indie dyers and indie yarn store owners and indie designers. So it's something that I think I've finally found my niche in YouTube. And so it is crazy to me to think that this podcast will be a year old soon. I have to double check on exactly the date, but I want to say it's something like the first week of November. So I will look that up and tell you in the next video. But yeah, so I am hoping to go to Nottingham Yarn Expo, just because I think that will be, until I find out where I'm going to be in March, and if I can afford / I'm able to take the time off to come for Edinburgh, I think that will probably be the last yarn festival that I go to while I'm here, which makes me really sad. But there will be other opportunities, other yarn festivals as always. So, but yeah, onwards and upwards, basically. So that's about it that I have to talk about. Dying. Alright, sorry, I just like choked there. Tea. I made tea and I forgot about it, because that's usually what happens to me. It's my Stitch cup. I love my Stitch cup. Hold on, can you see Stitch? Stitch! It's just peppermint with honey. A bit too much honey, actually. But yeah, so that's all that I have to talk about for today. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and just a reminder, if you did enjoy it, like down below and subscribe. Happy knitting! Bye!